Often tinnitus can last for days, or so tinnitus can last for days. It can last for sometimes hours. It depends. It depends. It's got a tinnitus has a strange behaviour. I think characteristic with its with the individual. Yeah. Sometimes when you hear the hissing sound, some describe it like I know someone else that has it, and she said she kind of hears it like sounds like a kettle. So it's that kind of like whistly sound. When you have the what's it on the kettle, and it makes the whistly sound too. That's to say, oh, the kettle's ready, because it's making the whistly sound, because I think it goes through to what's it? You got probably a little tiny little ball thing or so. It moves up to and it makes the. I can't really do that. The kettle sound whistle makes that whistly sound. It wouldn't be that sort of sound like a kettle, because that pitch loudness would be very loud. But similarity. Otherwise, the tinnitus level I can hear at the moment, the hissy sound. It's if I could try and articulate. Something like that sort of level, but it's not that specific signature. I just did it because as I can hear it, maybe a little bit more this side at the moment, a little bit less on this side. If I do that level, I can still hear it because the level, yeah. That's a slightly different sound. It's a bit more wider, whereas the sound of the tinnitus I'm hearing is a bit more narrow band of centered around a specific frequency range. Could be, like I say, it could be between maybe 5, could be 5 and 9 kilohertz, could be centered somewhere there, and it's, trying to figure it out and listen with headphones and then play pink noise, white noise, etc., narrow band frequency, and then gradually moving up the frequency scale and adjusting the level on the fader up and down until roughly think, I think it's about there, approximation, it's about there. Other days it sounds like it's at this level. I mean, if I do this again, yeah, that's about there, I would say. And some days it might be sort of there, but I'm doing it. I can still, I can hear the tones, a tone. I'm doing a tone that's sound down there, and I can still hear it up there, sort of thing. Yeah, well, I could kind of maybe laugh at that when most people, they don't understand it, they they do not want to understand it and all that. Most of these people, it just brings them down to their knees, where they can't bear it anymore, and then they're that close to trying to do themselves. I could feel like I could punch it, but that's not going to help. Even though it's a sound and it's pressure, it's a pressure as well, because it can tax your nerves. It taxes mine, so that's what taxes other people's. That's what happens when you go to a cinema or such, or you're exposed to a sound system that's doing a sound pressure level that is in the range of 120, possibly 130. And all these other people on YouTube and all these other idiots, and they say they're playing this sub-bass boom and all this other nonsense at 100, good gosh, 150, 160 watt dB, and people like that, they're going to end up with tinnitus. They're going to get it as well. I mean, there's one guy on YouTube, I saw a video, right, of his home theatre and that. And this guy hardly ever smiles in the video, so it's pretty obvious he's got it as well, because he looks really depressed. Probably does other things as well, which I know he does. he does other things during the day or such, and he's gonna be around loud machinery at such, yeah. And then he's gonna come back, all this movie, blah blah blah, play a load of rubbish music at stupid sound pressure levels, even if he's not doing 150 or whatever it is dB to show off, oh, I've got a home theatre. And he's probably overdoing it because he's no doubtly muddying the or well, what's the word called? Smearing your bass or muddying it, colouring it, or over colouring it. Basically, creating a load of frequency masking. So his bass on his surrounds, his left, centre, right, it's all going to be playing this level, right? And then he's turning up his sub bass and it's going right up there. There's no logic to that because you're not going to get a good sound quality. It's just going to be ending up sounding rubbish and a load of limited distortion. Yeah, he's obviously got it because I could see in the videos he hardly ever smiles because he must have it really bad. I don't know. Some people probably wouldn't be able to admit to it because it will hurt their ego. And then you just say, well, that's it. You play a system on purpose, loud, really loud. Mine, at the most, dBA frequencies, they usually are kept within about an 85 dB range, and it modulates. It's sometimes less and sometimes it's 85 dBA. Low frequencies, dBc, sometimes between, well, variable, but peak levels, say like Star Trek to the Wrath of Khan, because I just like that movie. Sometimes those low ranges might be 90 dBc to about sometimes 100 dBc, but I don't go pushing it any further up to 110 or even 115 because I've noticed the feel of some of it is better than, say, other cinemas, but I don't go to those other cinemas anymore because they are just bloody loud, where the mid and high frequencies on the HF horns are so loud I've got to put earplugs in, so I know the level is going way above the 85 dB reference or the 85 dB limit sort of thing, because that's when you go and ask for trouble for in the high frequencies, and that's you're going to ask for trouble there. Yeah. This tinnitus, this hissing, it could fade off. Maybe, I don't know what day. No day. What's the no day now? Bat Magic. You're all right. The bear's chasing you. You're squabbling over food, aren't you? I think it's almost weekend. I don't really care. Weekends, day, I don't care what days they are now, day, month, year, doesn't mean anything to me anymore. If this could fade out by maybe the weekend. It could fade out maybe by the weekend. That's how long sometimes it can last for. Sometimes I don't get the hissing sound and that can be, sometimes I've noted, for argument's sake, almost a week. And I'm thinking, I haven't heard my tinnitus for about over a week, and I'm thinking, great, and then I'm not pushing anything loud, and yet I might go to sleep, wake up, and suddenly, bam, it's there. And it's puzzling what triggers it. Is it chemically reaction, body chemical? Is it something you ate? Is it a combination of something of what you ate with chemical balances and such? Is it sinuses? Is it um, because I never used to get this. Never used to get it. It was never noticed it until night time, and it would be round about September or around these 1979. I think it would be maybe could be October or November or such. Um, how maybe it eluded me for many, because maybe at the time it sort of came on and off, like it does sometimes. But the only sound system that I would have been exposed to with high sound pressure level would have been Sense-Around. I'm surprised I didn't even get it with Earthquake, which I saw 4 times. And I never noticed any pressure or hissing noise between 1975 and 1979 until 1979. But it could be that I might have got minor sort of gone over near to the threshold or whatever. It's difficult to calculate. If I were to play, say, average level of, say, it's difficult to say to compare Earthquake to, say, a 70mm print on disc, be it whether Blu-ray, whatever, DVD or Laserdisc, and that's just the basic part of the soundtrack. And then you got the track where the LFE or such, because the Sense-Around is not really the same on disc. It isn't. It's a totally different sort of thing because it had a sort of forward backward sort of movement sort of thing. The LFE point one doesn't do that. It's just a single channel. Okay, so you need something like LFE 1, LFE 2 are sort of doing a sort of forward backward shifting. You could make the LFE 1 sort of do a sort of thing like that, which I've been sort of thinking about making or designing something or just putting something in place to do that sort of effect. Otherwise, you need the real thing. It's like my dad says, he says, what's the point with that? You might as well just get the real thing. But yeah, the real thing, it costs too much. So you got to kind of wait, you know. Could you actually apply the real thing, that is? And of course, if I had the real thing, I would be playing at a lower level. I ain't going to be bothering with this 120, 130 dB. I've even played, I think, Earthquake one time at 126 dB. And I could only bear it for a few moments. I thought, fucking turn it down. Because it's like been here before, you know. And I was watching the SPL meter going bonkers. And believe it or not, I wasn't using a whole lot of power to get that level. On the sub, I think I was only using something like 60 watts. So, you don't need all this hundreds and hundreds, even though it's recommended, because there might have been odds that I might have been near clipping, or there might have been some harmonics being generated due to that type of amplifier, because I didn't have specific test equipment at the time to check to see if there were any harmonics and so forth. But I was getting 126, 126 dB, and played a few other movies after that, and I was noticing peak level getting up near to, was getting a bit more, and deeper with other movies that had a better frequency sort of thing, because the Earthquake thing, when you listen to it on DVD, Blu-ray, blah, 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 It looks like pink noise running, but it does have slight modulations going on in it. And if you listen to it, and if you have it tuned, your system tuned correctly during the big one, it should, when it starts, you hear the rumble, or an earthquake rumble effect going across the screen channel. Partly, then a few seconds later, it cuts in on the, or moments later, it cuts in on the surround, and this is where they're all in the cinema auditorium, and they're watching the Clint Eastwood. And there's, and also if you get the balance right, there's a sort of kick. Can't come over here. Come over here, Magic. Bear's being an idiot. There's a sort of a kick, sort of thing, a sort of a jolt kick. That's when the LFE kicks in. But the LFE kicks in with, the kind of sensor that comes on, and then there's a couple of seconds, then there's a sort of kick, sort of thing, a jolt kick, and then the frequencies, and then it just goes on like that for crikey, 10 minutes. There is only a pause on the LFE for about, that's during when it goes into the elevator scene and everyone's running into the elevator, and then the elevator doors, as the elevator doors close, the LFE track fades out, and then just as there's another rumble, and that gets it a little bit more deeper around the center channel location. So if you haven't got proper cinema speakers, you're not gonna get that rumble sort of thing. Not to say it's a good thing. It doesn't have to be played at high sound pressure levels. I'm just saying the way it is, you get a deeper. But if you on little speakers, it's just gonna be not really there, sort of thing. You'll only get a small portion of the frequency. You can equalize and make adjustments to get it to go a little bit lower with some with PEQ filters put in place, and you could push those little speakers maybe just a little portion more. The most you're only going to get out of those little speakers is maybe about or at best, depending on what distance you are in the room, and there's other technical technicalities as well. Maybe if you had a baffle wall going around it, because with a baffle wall, you'll increase the frequency response by a few dB extra, without necessarily giving it extra more, turning it up a little bit, so to speak. It's kind of added by simply a little bit of magic. It's a bit of magic. One kitty, one bear, two kitties can coexist. It's a kind of magic. It's sort of like that. So yeah, most people probably think, oh, is he talking about me? I got small speakers. Yeah, I am talking about you. Yeah. Your small speakers, yeah, you claim they're cinema speakers, yeah. Really, you wouldn't know a real cinema speaker if it fell on you, and if it did fall on you, it would hurt because they're damn large. If your room's almost about the size of my room, then how come you haven't got cinema speakers in it? So you're not dedicated enough for all this movie reviewing, yeah. You're not dedicated. I think you're just doing that just to get a little bit on the side there comes in the mail, and you think, oh, that's because someone recommended my channel because they bought this movie on Blue 4K. I know all about it. Yeah, so I'm rambling, and this sort of thing. I like sometimes do these bloody videos on the thing, up to a bloody hour, and I'm sick and tired of that. It's a bad habit because I'd rather do it on a live stream. I'll just pause a sec. to some poor. I think that's about it. I think I'll do a live video now. Yeah, because I still can hear it a little bit, but I think it may have gone down by a small margin. And it depends anyway. It could just fade out any moment. I just wonder if animals also get tinnitus. Yeah, I feel really sad about if animals can get it. That's dogs, cats, pet bat, you know. Um, you know.
To figure out who you are. Oh, fuck. This is me taking control. From Slow. From the fraternity. From Janice. From billing reports. From ergonomic keyboards. From cheating girlfriends and sack of shit best friends. This is me taking back control of my life. What the fuck have you done lately?